as more how to make yourself a happier person, and how to make yourself like the trigger of joy in the family, instead of creating divisions in the family, instead of creating conflicts in the family. How to make the family a happier family, and then see how you can export this happiness to people around you. So that should be the main goal, not that you should become a Buddhist. This is not the point. So meanwhile, of course, we're going to, given that this is a residential program, no doubt we're going to have, say, we're going to touch on many topics of Buddhism. At times it can be like some ranging from, say, the easier ones to the very complicated topics. And don't be scared. It's going to be interesting. A little technical, but then don't underestimate yourself. That, okay, it must be very complicated. So don't be scared. It's going to be interesting. So what we're going to do from tomorrow is that okay. Given that we are, say, covering many important aspects of Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, psychology, and that too pertaining to compassion, pertaining to wisdom, pertaining to evolutionary theory, pertaining to Big Bang. So we're going to touch many areas. And those of us who are not from physics background or neuroscience background, you don't really have to worry. There's a great opportunity for us to learn, to hear about these concepts and how, say, what the physics would talk about Big Bang, origin of the universe. What is that? What's the Buddhist take on this? Likewise, Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory, whether or not Buddhist concept of the evolution tallies with it, or they go divergent, and so forth. The whole purpose is not for anything else, just for us to learn, to see inward that what we are feeling, the fear of the COVID back in 2011, the fear of the COVID, so the feeling of uncertainty there, feeling of the oneness of the whole world, that we are just one. Nobody is spared. Nobody is exempted from COVID-19 fear. King, queens, prime ministers, presidents, or ordinary person like us. Everyone had this fear. That the COVID taught us that we are just one entity. We need to work hand in hand. So this is what we've learned. So from that point of view, there are many important points we're learning over the next 1 week. And so what we are actually going to do from tomorrow. First thing is that in the mornings, we're going to have 1.5 hours of practice. Practice meaning like some recitations there, some meditations there. And initially the first the 2 days or maximum 3 days, we may not be able to cover the entire the thing which otherwise I've in my mind to do in the mornings, the first 3 days, because it requires some explanation and it'll take time. So let's not worry about that. And then perhaps the third day or the fourth day, then we will be able to do the complete form of what we are expected to do in the morning practice. And of course, it's a little cold. And how many are from hot place? Raise hands. Okay. And how many are from -20 or -10? Russia? Sweden, yes. Okay. So what I'm saying is that the morning, of course, is going to be a little cold. And so this is a course. And it's a part of it. And you may wonder why. Why should it be a part of it? Okay. So that you may not be able to say get it full now, but to give you a brief idea, that over the next 1 week during the course of this BODHICITTA retreat, you're bound to get some sense from what we are doing here, in the sense that there's the bigger meaning and purpose of life. It's not just what I've been doing in this life thus far. There's something bigger than this. And for this, I need training. And for the training, this is like a consistent training required. Not just the 2-day, 1 week, 10-day training, but like a consistent training. Because the nobler the goal, more the time taking. Let's not forget it. Nobler the goal, more the time taking. For example, to become a medical doctor, or say a CEO of a company, right? A very well-established company. It's not easy that you become CEO overnight. It takes many years for you to reach to that level. So, likewise, to become a Nobel laureate, for example, like Nobel laureate in physics, recently, Professor Anton Zelenka, who I know so well. And he became one of the 3 recipients of Nobel laureate in physics. And he must be already in his 80s now. So when I met him, he must be in his mid-70s or early 70s. Now he must be in the 80s. Okay. So what I'm saying is that to reach that level of accomplishment, the time is a factor. It's not that there's no shortcut. Time factor is there. So once you discover that from this 1 week, I am very hopeful that we all, not only you, me also, they will discover that there's greater meaning to our life. And this meaning, once you've seen that, like seeing Mount Everest from far away, then what is your job? Keep walking so that you can reach there. So this retreat, what is expected is that you will see the Mount Everest from distance. Then after this retreat, your job is to keep walking. And nobler the goal, and the taller the Mount Everest, which means that what you are seeing is actually very, very, very far away. It's smaller, what you are seeing is nearer. Bigger, taller, and seeing something, which means it must be so far away. So, nobler the goal, more the time taking, which means that some practice is required. And it's not mandatory that you say after this retreat you have to do this practice. No, it's not mandatory. The thing is that some of you, if not all, some of you for sure will find you will get some sense that there's much greater meaning in the meaning out of life. For that, now, okay, I got some sense. Now I have to walk closer to it. So what I mean by walking is a practice. So to practice, we need some, the template or some design of the practice, and this practice deliberately. Otherwise, I personally prefer not to come in the morning practice. I prefer to do that on my own, because me do my own all these many years. I've learned from all my teachers, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all my teachers, that I can do my own practice more effectively than being with other people. But in order to tell you how to do that, I'm coming here joining you. So every day. Okay, with this in mind, the purpose is for us to learn how to walk the path to discover a greater meaning out of your life. This is the reason. And you will come to realize that, yes, this is so precious, number one. Then number two, that this book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas, your name? Joshua. Okay, Joshua from NDC 1 or 2? NDC 3. Okay, so the Joshua, show this book again. You are expected to have this book. Please make it a point that you bring this book every session here, because we can refer to this book anytime. We never know. And this is one thing. And also that not only refer to this book for some important points, we also will use this during the preliminary practices and also the recitation, the first few pages, every now and then. And the next part is that the classes, we have 3 classes a day. 3 classes a day. And if you miss one class, then for you to catch up with the next class will prove to be a little complicated, a little technical. Otherwise, I promise you, I guarantee you, or promise you, that the classes are not going to be, say, one time. Somebody told me that, oh, Geshe, your teachings are very complicated, very high level. Should I make an announcement that the students, only if they have some basic foundations of Buddhist philosophy, only they are entitled to come, otherwise not? I said, no, I only need 2 things. What I expect from the participants of the program is 2 things. Number one is that person should have at least some interest and passion for what we're doing here, number one. Number 2 is that the person should have, demonstrate consistency, to be consistent in the class. So not like, okay, I'll feel a little tired, I'll not go to class today. Then you will miss the next class and you will not find it meaningful. So be consistent with the classes. Then the next part is the group discussions. Group discussions. There are going to be 2 compulsory group discussions and 1 optional group discussion. And the first 2 in the daytime, the 2 group discussions, they're compulsory. And I requested the Venerable Kunpenla to kindly break the group into like 5 groups, and the 5 groups, so that as many can take part in the conversation rather than only few people talking. So for this group discussion, given that I see less number of people who are exposed to, who are familiar to my the teachings, so therefore I'm not too sure. So the thing is that the groups should have group moderators. And group moderators, and after 1 or 2 days time, then even the group moderator will be done by rotation. And the job is just to make sure that everybody speaks. That's your job as the group moderator. Your job is to let everybody speak, not that somebody takes over all the conversation. And also that the group discussion is meaningful. That somebody already learned Buddhist philosophy for several years, and then wanted some platform to just speak what you know, and then take this opportunity to speak, to go just jump into the what you've learned as the more complicated topics, then the others will get lost. So we should be a little sympathetic, a little empathetic. Let's have some sense of sympathy, empathy towards others. At least the first few days, let's make sure that everybody knows each other. knows each other, let them speak. And even if, and you know how many years you have learned Buddhist philosophy. If you learned more than 3, 4, 5 years, particularly learned Buddhist philosophy more systematically, you have no doubt you have many questions. And you can ask these questions not in the first few days, first 2, 3, 4 days. Let others also speak. And if possible, the group moderator should be very careful to make sure that at least what we have covered in the class, these are being reviewed and revised in the group discussions. Then after that, when you're confident that the other participants, they got what we already discussed, what is taught in class, then you can let others speak to go deeper into what they are interested to, whatever questions that they might have. Okay, this is one thing that we need to keep in mind. Then the next thing is tomorrow. What we do is that we will have, say, the first coming here, like 6 o'clock, 6-ish, 6 o'clock. We are all here, and then our the IT person, Mr. Sidn, is there. Mr. Sidn La from Tibet House, my colleague, and he will play the Buddham Sharanam Gacchami music for 5 minutes, and we'll all make prostrations. And why prostrations? Okay, so particularly coming here, I would encourage you that whatever you're learning, at least from this class, this retreat, if you have questions, like from the why we make prostrations, why should we have to make prostrations? All these questions must be resolved. In other words, do by knowing the meaning. Don't just follow as a ritual. Do that, knowing the meaning, knowing the purpose. And if you see that, okay, this is the meaning, that's the purpose, but the purpose is totally irrelevant to me, don't do it. You're getting it? This is the point. So in other words, I'll say the Buddhist teachings, and let's try to explore it rationally, not as a religious belief or submission, not like that, but rationally. So this is what we're trying to do. So the first thing that we do is making prostrations. And for prostrations, then how do you do that? Why do you do that? First, how do you do that? Okay, first let me say, why do you do that? That may be more relevant. Why do you do that? In the first place, prostration has a connotation of showing respect. Why do we have to respect? Next question. Why do we have to respect? Okay, so let's say that I remember, particularly when I was in class 9, age-wise maybe 15, I was so fond of physics. And those of you who are so fed up with physics, the next 7 days you have to bear with me. Physics examples will come every now and then. You're getting it? Okay, I was so fond of physics. And my friend who joined his family in America, immigrated to America to join the family, he was 1 year senior to me. And in those days, no emails. In those days, okay, most of you are young, right? You have no clue what I was talking about. In those days, I sent a mail and you expect the reply only after 1 month. Not like today, right? Today you send it, press it, and in a few seconds, if the person replies, you'll get the reply just in a few seconds. But in those days, 15 days it'll go to the, first 2 days it'll go to the post office, then post office make it for 1 or 2 days, and then we go to it'll take total like 15 days to reach the destination. And the person will take some time to read, write, maybe 1 or 2 days. When I send, again the reply comes back, it reaches your hand, it takes another 15 days. Total in one month, relax. So you don't do, you just forget it. Okay, so that was the time. So he asked me, Dorji, what do you want from America? So I wrote a big poster of Albert Einstein. And it never came. It's already like 30 years. More than 30 years ago. Still it never came. You're getting it? So what I'm saying is, why I'm saying this is because that why this young boy was asking for the portrait of Albert Einstein? Because he loved him so much. Why he loved him so much? Because he's so fond of physics. And he saw Albert Einstein as his role model. Role model meaning somebody from whom he can learn. Right? So this love and affection is represented. So this love and affection, it is the gateway to the knowledge. Gateway to the knowledge. So what is respect? Respect is showing the affinity to that person. Not that, you are great, so therefore I surrender. This is not the connotation. The connotation is that I love you. I appreciate you. Right? And I see qualities in you. I want to learn from you. So when you want to learn from the other person, say that is reflected in the form of your gesture of, say, the affinity. Gesture affinity. So that affinity, wanted to learn from that person. Say that you are amazing. You're amazing. I have to learn from you. So that is the respect. Respect your knowledge. I want to learn from you. So that opens the receptivity. The respect, not because of the fear, respect out of seeing the other person as a source of knowledge which you aspire to learn. So that respect is the entry gate. It's the receptivity to your knowledge. So when you make prostrations, it's just a gesture. For example, what is this? Peace. Then what is this? 3 more peace. Yes, no?
Scouts.
Huh?
Scouts.
Scouts.
Salute is like.
No, this is, what is this?
2 fingers.
2 fingers. This is what? Peace. Which means 4 fingers is double the peace. Okay, look. These are all conventions. Finger doesn't mean anything. You assign a convention to this to say there is peace. Let's not have fight. This is peace. Likewise, say physical gesture of what we call is just the bending down and so forth. These are all just the conventions created to express something, to express that I really appreciate you. In some cases, it becomes so ritualistic, whereas if you do it wholeheartedly with the meaning, it simply is a gesture to say that I see you as a role model. I'm here to learn from you. This is the whole meaning. So prostration, and there's so many ways of making prostrations. The Chinese style, Indian style, the Thai style, Tibetan style, they are so many. And then the Muslim style, Hindu style, Buddhist style, the Jewish style, Jain, and there's so many of them. So which is correct? All are correct. All are correct. These are all just, somebody said that, okay, this 4 fingers, this is peace. Right? If somebody says, initially, whoever first said this is peace, when if a person says this is 4, everybody says, will do like this, not do like this. You getting, what is this? Time out, stop. You're getting it? Okay. One note like this. Or one note like this. Right? It's all just conventions. Let's not forget it. So likewise, all these physical gestures, verbal expressions to express what you feel, this is all correct as long as the feelings are correct. As long as your cognitive thought process is correct, that I want to learn from you. Right? And what we're going to learn over the next 1 week is that finally, why do you have to learn? Why do you have to learn from Albert Einstein? Why do you have to learn from the Niels Bohr? Or why do you have to learn from Mozart? Why do you have to learn from somebody younger ones, maybe learn from Messi? You're getting, why? Because that makes me happy, right? Why did you come in this cold weather? You're crazy. Why did you come here? No, I like it. So, from tomorrow we're going to learn that the purpose for everyone, whether you're a believer or non-believer, whether male or female, Easterner, Westerner, this religion, that religion. Everyone seeks two things: to get rid of your fears, to get rid of your miseries, and to expand your happiness. That's the whole purpose. You're getting it? Okay. So that being the reason, so for this, how do we do that? We come to know that they say your mind is involved. Where happiness, miseries, this is all related to my own mind, right? They all relate to my mind. Okay, so of course we're going to learn more about this from tomorrow. It's all about my mind. Now within the mind, you can see that you can explore this mind, the map of the mind. You can explore the mind. And you'll be fascinated to see that just as the external world, there's so many divergent things there, diversities there. Within the mind, you can see the whole map of the mind. There, such a diversity, complexities of the mind is there. This is what we're going to learn. From this, we come to know that one is the activation of your cognitive thought process. Cognitive thought process, to activate this cognitive thought process. To see the real, so activating this, to see the reality more closely with your activating the cognitive thought process. To see the reality more closely. So once you see the reality, that is known as the intelligence or the wisdom. And this wisdom, the job is to get rid of your ignorance. And the other side is to activate your affective part of your mind, which is compassion. And with this, activating your affective part of your mind, the compassion, then the selfishness is eradicated. It is mitigated. Selfishness is mitigated. You see that your happiness expands. So, with this are all the mental processes. Mental processes. This is very good to learn. So from this, say that, and these are all richly taught by the Buddha 2,500 years ago. They are so richly taught by the Buddha. And today we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And all the great Nalanda masters, they taught this, the rich world of the mind, the psychology, epistemology. So we make prostrations to them, saying that this is what we're going to learn, to just touch the quintessence of my life, the quintessence of the workings of the mind. So this is what I'm going to learn from you. I take you as a role model. This is the meaning of prostration to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, so there's a purpose of doing this. Now next is, how do we do? You could do it in any ways you like. But they say some people do the prostration this way, some people prostrate down way. It's very chaotic. So to create some synchrony, right? Then we do, for example, like say the march past. It's not that the first you have to put the right leg first. There's no hard and fast rule. But in the army, you'll be taught first right, then left, right? So that there's synchrony there. You're getting it? So when there's a group of people, there must be some synchrony there. So to create the synchrony, then let's say in this place, we learn how it is done in the Tibetan way. And then later on, you will learn how Indians do, how the Chinese do, Vietnamese do, how the Muslims do, how the Christians do, how the Hindus do. So you will learn all these traditions, and finally, these are all the expressions to express your feeling of wanting to learn from these great teachers. Okay, so make prostrations. What you do is that they say two hands touching together and the two thumbs. Okay, let's do it. How two thumbs folded and the two thumbs get into this. So this is symbolic of the jewel, symbolic jewel, gem. gem, and there's a hollow inside, and outside this you can see the shape. So this is the shape of the gem, and the hollow inside, it's the understanding of the wisdom of emptiness, which we're going to learn over the next few days. Hollow inside is wisdom of emptiness. This will bring us the fearlessness, wisdom of emptiness. And outside is the symbolic of the gem. Outside is a gem. That's symbolic of the unconditional love. That will guarantee your infinite happiness. So the inside, the hollow, symbolic of wisdom of emptiness, this will guarantee your fearlessness. You become very confident, truly fearless. And the outside is symbolic of the unconditional love of bodhicitta. This is what guarantees, if you accomplish in cultivating this within yourself, this will guarantee you to have the infinite happiness. Okay. And then why the two thumbs inside is that in the Tibetan tradition, what we say is that we don't keep things empty. Empty, and things empty is not considered too auspicious. So we, when you offer, for example, like when you offer something like a mug or whatever, you make sure that you offer with something inside it, not just empty. So this is the two thumbs put inside. Okay, then this hand gesture will touch 3 spots or 4 spots. 4 spots: crown, forehead, throat, and the heart. And why these 4 spots? Because when you're able to activate this, the true nature, the true nature of your mind, when we're able to awaken or activate the true nature of mind, potential within you, you become a Buddha. You become the full awakened being. You become, okay, it sounds suddenly, what? That I become Buddha, what is that? This is what we learn from tomorrow. So in other words, that your true nature will become manifest. At that point, you become fearless and your happiness expands to infinity. So that at that point, you are able to, so what is that infinite happiness? Is when you're able to experience the infinite happiness yourself, and that you have the potential to give infinite happiness to others. That you have the potential to give, that you experience the infinite happiness yourself, and simultaneously that you have the potential to give the same happiness to all other beings. So for this, how do you give happiness to others? By helping others. How to help? There are so many ways of helping. For some people who is hungry, giving food. For somebody who want to learn how to derive E equals MC square, right? We'll teach you. You can teach how E equals MC square. And for some people, what is Big Bang? You explain Big Bang, and so forth. That you should be able to explain all these things so well. All these things so well. So, with this, and some people who are on the verge to, become perfect in ways of infinite happiness, you need to empower them. For example, like somebody who's going to become the biggest person in America. Who is the biggest person in America? Who's the most powerful person in America? Donald Trump those days. Today? President, right? The president. Okay. So nobody can say that, oh, I want to become the president. No. Somebody has to tell you that you are the president. Who is that? The public. They cast a vote, right? So the public empower you to become the president. The majority empowers you to become the president. So likewise, that on the verge for you to reach that level of what is known as the infinite happiness. At that point, and the other enlightened beings, they should empower you to awaken this seed fully. So for that empowerment is mainly done from the Buddha's crown and from the forehead. This empowerment of the other enlightened beings to become Buddha that's done mainly through your crown and the forehead. So these two spots are so important because this is the best way by which you can most effectively benefit other beings, because you inspire others to help others. The two spots. And then the throat. The throat, this is again another extremely important, the spot of each one of us, not the Buddha there, each one of us. Because that this throat is symbolic of your speech. And finally, let's say that, okay, say today, if you are singing for the first time, most of you, and if I levitate 2 feet up in the space like this, you'll be so amazed, and there's going to be traffic jam in Dharamsala. And everything will come on the BBC and CNN radio and the All India radio, right? There's going to be traffic jam there. And finally, all these people, they'll come. What will they get? They will get wow. They'll just say wow and they will leave. What is wow? Right? What will really help them is not that you perform a miracle, only by giving the correct teachings, correct guidance. So we all attend schools, colleges, universities. What? To learn from them. To learn. This is how you become the Nobel laureate in physics, Nobel laureate in literature, Nobel laureate in medicine, and so forth. So the best way by which to help others, the most effective way by which to help others is to give guidance. And guidance is through speech. So speech is very important. And the next one is heart. And all these things are happening from your mind. When your mind becomes very sophisticated, this is what makes things happen. All these miracles happen through your miracles, meaning all these teachings, empowerments, benefit others, all are actually the play of your mind. So this mind, where is where is its ultimate residence of this mind? Is the heart, not the biological heart. It's this position here, say just at the mid of this place where the biological heart is, just at this mid. So we touch the heart. So these are the 4 positions where we touch the crown, the forehead, throat, and heart. 4 spots. Or some people do 3 spots. What is 3 spots? Body, speech, and mind. Why body, speech, and mind? Because that when you become a Buddha, or when you become the full awakened being, when you accomplish all your goals, at that point, you become perfect. So, what do you have? What each one of us, what we have is body, speech, and mind. That's it, right? Body, speech, and mind. And the body said, remember that when you make prostration, all the Buddhists, Bodhisattvas are saying that I want to learn from you how to become fearless in life and how to experience infinite happiness eternally. I would learn from you. So when you say this, in a way you are saying that I want to become one like you. So what I have is the body, speech, mind, which are totally very imperfect, and I want to make them perfect as you are, right? So what are the 3 spots? Body, or here, whichever of the spot you like to touch, symbolic of the body, and then the throat, the speech, and the heart, the mind. Okay, so this is how, and then when you touch the ground, your 2 palms on the floor, the ground, and then your 2 knees on the ground, and then you get up. So this is what we do 3 times, 7 times, 21 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, 100,000 times, up to you. So from tomorrow morning, we're going to do 4 or 5 minutes. And when you do that, Okay, generally speaking, and I'm sure that amongst you there must be some who are already into Buddhism for the last several years, and who may also know about, say they're doing 100,000 times of prostration and so forth. Say in future, if you do come across having desire to do more prostration, so forth, then I would suggest that make sure that you protect your knees. Particularly when you touch the ground with the two palms and the two knees, make sure that there's a cushion there. Because some people, they say that no, when you do this, it's a purification process, it's a purification of the negativities. You have to, go through the hardships as much as possible, so the more purification happens. No, it will damage your knees long run. Then you cannot do any prostration anymore in the future. No purification happening. So the best thing is be wise. Be wise, make sure that your two knees are protected. So put some cushion underneath. Okay, that's the prostration. And alongside our IT staff here, my colleague will play this music, which is Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami is I take refuge in the Buddha, which means that I'm going to learn from you as my role model. Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami is I take refuge in the Buddha's teachings, the guidance the Buddha gave to make myself totally fearless and to experience infinite happiness eternally. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami is that I seek refuge in the good companions. The Buddha said, if possible, go with good companions. If not, go by yourself than to go with bad companions. This is so wise advice. How many agree with me? Raise hands. This is so wise advice, right? Most of the time, this is the advice which the parents give to their children. And I'm sure you must have received this advice so many times when you're small children, right? I'm sure you must have received this advice. Go with good friends. This advice. Okay. So this is what is done. Then after this, after 5 minutes, then we're going to all of us will light the tea light candle. So light tea light candle, and if possible, let's make like 3 places, so that it will be quicker. Yeah. And what is this offering light every day? Again, this light is symbolic of the wisdom. What's the opposite of wisdom? Anyone? What is the opposite of wisdom? Ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance is a mental state where you don't see the reality. We don't know the reality. We are blocked from having the vision of the reality. This is ignorance. So, in dark, you don't see what's around you. So darkness is the metaphor for ignorance. How to remove this ignorance? Just see how to remove the darkness. How to remove the darkness? You introduce a light, you kindle a light. So as you put on the light, just imagine that you're igniting the light of the wisdom. Light of the wisdom to dispel your darkness. Darkness which otherwise blocks you from knowing how to experience fearlessness and how to experience infinite happiness. Just remember that. And not only that, think of think that I'm doing this, igniting the light of the wisdom, not only for myself, for all my family members, for all the dear mother sentient beings, for all the sentient beings, for everyone. Just think of that. Eventually, you come to discover the secret of the happiness lies in your compassion. If your compassion is 2 out of 10, your happiness is 2 out of 10. If your compassion is 10 out of 10, your happiness is 10 out of 10. This is what you will experience, you will come to realize later on. So because of this, and this compassion is not just a very soft topic. No, this is a very sophisticated topic. And of course, compassion, there are very sophisticated versions of compassion there, which we're going to learn. And so for this compassion, for this compassion, and the how to actually experience that. It's not that easy. For example, you don't know what is 2 plus 10. Then somebody teaches you 2 plus 10 is 12. And the next day, what is 2 plus 10? 12. That's very easy. That's very easy. But compassion, to feel that experience, to feel it, it'll take a lot of time. It requires a lot of other factors, the factors to make sure that this compassion actually it takes birth within you. It'll take time. So that the time, and it requires skillfulness in you to make sure that the factors are intact so that within the short span of time, compassion, unconditional compassion arises within you. So for that, one of the ways by which to do so is compassion means to reaching out to other beings. So if you reach out to 10 people, compassion into 10. And to infinite beings, compassion into infinity. So this is one of the tips by which to make sure that your compassion becomes infinite. Even by lighting a candle, you imagine that I'm lighting this on behalf of all the infinite beings who are suffering. People in Ukraine who are suffering, people all over the world, in hospitals, in the families, domestic violence, everywhere, wherever the suffering happening, just, you visualize them with that they are with you and they are offering this light, not just one light, in infinite number of lights to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Okay, this is what we do. Then the next part is, and then following that, then we will do some recitations and some mantras are there. And these mantras, recitations, okay, when we recite them, there are 3 ways of reciting them. Number 1, where the words flow. Number 2, words flow and meaning is reflected. Number 3, words flow, meaning reflected, and the experience is invoked. Where you just recite it like a ritual, without the meanings reflected and the experience is invoked, then even if you do it for like 100 years, the benefit is going to be so less. It's not that there's no benefit, but the benefit is going to be so less. Whereas, if you recite it with the meanings reflected, words uttered, meanings reflected, then the benefit is going to be like 1,000 times more, 1,000 million times more. And then with the experiences invoked, then it's going to be just unimaginably more in terms of the benefit. So, but I can't expect all of us to invoke the experiences. To do that, we need to first of all know what they are, practice them for many years, and then experiences should dawn in you. Only then we can recite, read the text with all the 3 points intact. At least from tomorrow, what we can do is that words are uttered and the meanings are reflected, so that our being together, our time spent together, doesn't go waste. Okay, this is the next point. And then of the 3 group discussions, third one is optional. Third one is in the evening, 7:30 or 7:30 to 8:30, and it can go maximum like 9. Don't be too enthusiastic, right? So tomorrow you have to get up early. We should be very realistic. Don't be carried away by, wow, the discussion is so good. And then you go like, so 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, and then tomorrow then you don't turn up for the class. Okay, so we should be very realistic. Although it can be very stimulating, but let us wind it up by the 7:30 to like 8:30, 8:45 we wind up. Okay, finally, observing silence. Given that this is going to be a very rigorous analytical class, it's going to be a very rigorous and intense class. It doesn't mean that it's going to be very scary, We should be so intense. No. The thing is that be consistent. Don't worry too much. be consistent with the classes, and where it's going to be, what classes are usually interactive. And interactive meaning I can ask some questions to you, and you give the answer. This is just to stimulate you. It's not for any other purpose. It's just to stimulate, because that finally how much you get is not how much I say. It depends on how much you are there to receive. So for that, your mind should be active, not just dull, passive listening, right? So your mind should be very active, all these 3 classes a day. Okay, so and therefore, given that this could be a very intense class, and believe it or not, many people say that this Bodhicitta retreat is very intense, and if you are very prudent, if you're smart, perhaps this just 1 week the retreat, intense retreat, can be equivalent to, like, say, 1 year of the class, if you are very serious with this. So your mind should be extremely maintained active. For this, say, if you maintain silence, this activation will stop. So therefore, say, from breakfast till the evening, let's say the evening, the group discussion. So we can talk. Then after the evening discussion, and for those people who may not turn up for the evening discussion, then after dinner till the next morning, you come here, silence. Otherwise, the daytime is not meant for any other purposes, just for you to, and that the conversations related to the teachings happening here, not on other things. Okay. So any questions that you might have from my side? Yes, over there. Yeah, sorry? No. During the classes. Okay. During the classes, what I would suggest is that the last 10 minutes, let's give for question answers. But I may flow. You're getting it? I may run. Run meaning I may just continue. And if you do have questions, and particularly when there's a flow, when there's a momentum, full momentum, then let us flow with this, because that if so many questions come up, then the momentum will be interrupted, and because of which the danger is that we may not be able to cover many important points. But in principle, let's say the last 10 minutes question answer session, and if you do have very serious questions, the last 10 minutes, just raise hands. Raise hands. Good. More questions? Anyone? Yes.
When we prostrate, is it okay to prostrate on the cushions that are here?
Perfect. Use the cushion. Yeah. Use the cushion. Or if you want to come closer here, you can bring your cushion.
Even the head touching the cushion is okay.
Okay. So the head, if you want to touch cushion, is perfectly all right. But the head touch the floor, it not really affect your body as much. Knees can be badly affected. And if you prefer, there's also what is known as full length prostration. With full length prostration, hold your chest, stomach will be touching the ground. In which case, if there's no mattress, and if you do it for a long time, it can affect your body. So where is the head? Don't worry too much. Any more questions? Okay, no? Okay, that's it. So good. So tomorrow we will, and as I said earlier, for the next 2 days, some of the mantras, some of the verses I'll explain, and because of which we may not be able to do the whole the thing, within the first 2 days, but they are all very important. And this is one thing. And the next thing I also like to share with you is just see compare how effective that's going to be like during the breakfast and the lunch and the dinner. We make the food offering from this book. In this book, at the end, there's one section, the food offering verses are there. And before the food offering verses being said, say collectively, we can recite like the 20 verses. We just continue reading 20 verses. The first breakfast, the first 20 verses, then the next lunch, the next 20 verses. And the benefit is that we are given the classes here, and these texts, the subject matter, they will revolve around what we are teaching here. So that way, the reading these texts separately suffices you studying like 2 or 3 texts simultaneously. That's a tremendous benefit there, and you'll be really very happy to see that you are learning so many things within a short span of time. Okay, good. Yeah, so see you. Yes.
Question about the science part. Should we get like after dinner until breakfast?
Yes.
Is it possible to keep it longer?
Okay, so basically, as I said earlier, this is a very intense, analytical bodhicitta retreat. You're getting it? And then and you will know, you'll come to know the benefit of the analytical exercise. So whereas if somebody comes to talk rubbish thing to you, remain silent. Right? It's not for that purpose, not for the rubbish talks, only for a purposeful, even this, why I encourage people not to remain silent during the daytime is for the reason that you might have, say you go to monastery universities, young monks, while they're having the food, they will keep debating, right? While they are just having the break time, they'll keep debating. So in other words, like whole day, they are actively connected to the soul, active. This is how they're trained. So just 1 week. In 1 week, make the most of this. Yeah, talk something of what we discussed in the class. That's it. Okay, let's stop. Yes.
Food offering, Geshe, is that 292?
Okay, 292. Yes, this is the food offering. And then before the food offering, we just go from would you mind? Okay. Thank you. Okay, is on page 292. Is it 292?
I think it's 300.
Okay, there are several the editions. Yeah. What is that?
300.
300. Okay, those of you just look at 300 and tell me, raise your hands. Where is the food offering is 300. Okay, this is maybe the early version. Yes. Okay, 300. And then what we do is that before the food offering, we can read from this one. So what I have is here, page 59, Noble Mahayana Sutra, Wisdom at the Hour of Death. Noble Mahayana Sutra, Wisdom at the Hour of Death. What page? 59. Just others, turn to page 59 and tell me what is there. Page 59, what is there? Same? Good. Okay, so say 20 verses we will read collectively. We'll read the 20 verses starting from page 59. And whoever is going to lead the reading, whoever is going to, just by rotation, somebody lead the reading before the food offering verses. You make sure that if it is like they're just 20 verses, some are very short text. Short text, just complete it and stop, and then do the food offering verses. Whereas some are like 100 verses. Where the 100 verses, you read the first 20 verses and then jump to the food offering. Then the next person should continue from that, where you left, where the first person left. Say for 21, from verse 21 you read, but you have to mention which text and who the author is. So that people will get the full picture of what this text is, who the author is. That really helps us a lot. Within a short span of time, you will learn a lot. Okay, this is what is expected. Thank you. Yes.
So this is before we eat.
Yes, before we eat. Okay, eating. Before that is food offering. Before food offering is reading the 20 verses.
Everyone from himself.
Sorry?
Everyone's doing this for himself.
No, everybody's collectively.
Okay, so we go into the dining hall.
Going to the dining hall. Yes. We all go to the dining hall. Then before the food, somebody will take the lead. Will start the recitation by indicating the text and the title of the text, the author's name, and then read it, and then the food offering, and then go for the meal. Yeah. Okay, that's it. So what we do is, we'll stop here. Then see you tomorrow.